For the clean-up teams up and down the country, the daily cleansing of our urban streets is relentless. But when thousands of sports fans descend on a city, the rubbish they leave behind is a nightmare. In Cardiff, the Millennium Stadium and the city centre are playing host to over 300,000 rugby fans here for the Six Nations decider between Wales and Ireland. The atmosphere is exuberant, fueled by an insatiable appetite for beer and fast food. But the result in the next 12 hours will be up to 8 tons of rubbish covering the city centre. For Council Supervisor Dave, the battle begins when the match kicks off and the majority of the fans are off the streets.
We're trying to clean the main arteries of the city centre because the Millennium Stadium is in the city centre, so it's a very compact area. So we need to clean this area here and in front of the stadium, but we've only got a small window of opportunity to do that, while there's 75,000 people in the stadium and the rest of them in the public houses in the area. We need to be in and out before the game finishes.
The clean-up teams have got their work cut out to get to grips with this first wave of rubbish in a matter of an hour and a half.
What we're doing now, though, is basically keeping a lid on the rubbish and the litter is generated throughout the day, because tomorrow morning we'll be in for 4:30 and then that will really be the business end of the clean-up, because when you come out in the morning, this whole area will be obliterated with litter. You will not be able to see the road surface at all, I guarantee it.
So far, Dave and his team are successfully dealing with their first challenge. Now, with the whistle blown, to Welsh despair and Ireland's triumph, the fans spill out in their thousands onto Cardiff's streets. With no chance till 5:30 tomorrow morning to start the big clean, Dave can only wonder what state the city centre will be in at sunrise. Cardiff at 5 a.m. Most of the rugby fans have left, but the city centre looks like a war zone, with only the seagulls picking away at the tens of thousands of half-eaten takeaways. A scene of devastation is quite usual for Supervisor Dave. There's a carefully worked-out plan to return the streets to normal by the time the Sunday morning shoppers arrive. But already, Dave has problems.
Already we've had one vehicle wouldn't start and we've had one puncture. We're short-staffed anyway, so it only adds to the pressure. Some of the machines is 5:10, some of them still haven't left, so we're playing catch-up already. We've only just started.
As the team starts to tackle the mess, it's soon clear this has been no ordinary night of excess. The sheer amount of rubbish is extraordinary.
This is the worst. Never seen worse than this.
Not only do the staff have to deal with the odd straggler wanting to help out, but also the mechanical sweepers are finding it difficult to cope with the sheer volume of litter and are constantly clogging up. All this is slowing down Dave's carefully planned schedule to finish the clear-up by 10 a.m. But after an hour and a half's hard graft, at least Queen Street is starting to look okay.
It's 9 o'clock and we're doing all right, I have to say. This area was awash with litter. Considering what it looked like this morning, I have to say I'm ecstatic.
To meet the deadline, however, Dave still has a few difficulties.
My main concern at the moment still is St Mary Street and Chip Alley. So the problem is the machines are filling up so quickly, and the fact that it's really the grease that's on the floor is dangerous. We're going to have that washed as soon as possible.
But even though time is against him, he still feels upbeat.
I'm confident that we will be done by 10 o'clock, fingers crossed.
Dave has at his disposal over 50 people and a fleet of some 12 mechanical sweepers to get the job done. Now all their efforts are focused on St Mary's Street and the dreaded Chip Alley. With the cut-off at 10 a.m. approaching, these hotspots have been transformed. But as Dave starts to give an update, a passing cyclist reveals the need to give Chip Alley another wash down.
As you can see, the time is 10 to 10, 9:50, 10 minutes to go. And as you can see, it's a miraculous transformation. We're on target for that 10 o'clock and the city centre should be back to normal.
So, thanks to the dedication of Cardiff's unseen army of street cleaners, the first Sunday morning shoppers won't have an inkling of what mayhem went on here only a few hours ago.